60 degrees. The circle represents the womb of the woman. The circle represents the motion of all life. Things move in a circular motion. You understand? This is why the serpent, one of the symbols of the great goddess, is utilized to symbolize that great motion of life, because nothing grows in a straight line, linear. Everything moves angular. And that's why Freemasonry is concerned with these angles. You see, because the great motion in life, like your semen, it moves like this, right? Right? Your hair, it comes up out of the root of your scalp in a spiral motion. The DNA, your DNA is spiraling. You see? So this is why that was, they were concerned with that particular thing. What the hell happened here? Okay. But now, here's a different take on the all-male craft. Goddess worship is not generally associated with this male fraternity. But the French Freemasons gave America a giant statue called Liberty, which is in reality a sun goddess. This was given by the Freemasons in France. Is my book here?
Yo, right.
Right. Thank you, sir. Did I bring that book with me, Seville?
Hold up.
Look at the back and see if that book is back there. Okay, so this statue, and a lot of people don't, yeah, let me see that book real quick. Should have had the page. Y'all bear with me for a moment, okay? I'm going to give you some good information here for you to go back and research yourself. Let me look at this here. Wow, I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Okay, I have a passage here. I wanted to read this to y'all real quick. The Statue of Liberty was conceived and financed and built by Freemasons. They even had a Freemason ceremony when the statue was dedicated on October 28, 1886 by the then President of the United States, Grover Cleveland. French Masons Frederick Auguste Tahuti initiated this colossus when he claimed, "I caught a vision of a magnificent goddess holding aloft a torch in one hand and welcoming all visitors to the land of freedom and opportunity." So clearly in his mind, the statue was a goddess. He also wanted to build a giant statue of the goddess Isis in Egypt, but as Egypt was then and now is a Muslim country, this wasn't a good idea, and it fell through. The cost of making and installing this Statue of Liberty was enormous. The making and the French Masons had to raise 3,500,000 French francs, while the New York newspaper owner Joseph Putzer donated $100,000 in 1870. That was a lot of money. The symbolism of the statue shows she is a sun goddess. We can see this by the ray of the sun coming out of her headdress and the flaming torch she is holding. Though others claim her headdress is a 7-pointed star. Listen, a 7-pointed star, which would be associated with astrology. Others claim that this torch represents the flame of Illuminati started by Adam Weishaupt, the organization conspiracy theories for some reason are so obsessed with. And so her crown, if you look at her crown, not only, yes, it is the rays of the sun, and it is also representing 7, if you will, because there are 7 points of the rays coming from there, and that's exactly what it represents. And then she being Herself being a point gives it 8 points. So between each one of these points, you have a 45-degree angle, and 45 degrees times 8 would be 360 degrees. So that would be representation of the goddess, and I'm going to show you a little more right here. This is where she comes from. This is the goddess Liberta out of ancient Babylon. Now, when you see a lot of these deities, never look past the fact that a lot of them have been anglicized. Right. Greeks, Romans, Babylonian, all of the places in Europe where you find these so-called European gods and goddesses, there is no such thing as a European god or goddess. Europeans did not have any spiritual system whatsoever. And everything that you see, whether it's in Greece, whether it's in Rome, Britain, wherever you see it, know and understand that those are your ancestors. Know and understand that that spiritual system is yours, perverted by Europeans who had little understanding. For the European, it is mythology. But for the African, it is the actual ancestors of Africans that walk this planet. Woo! So, now, this is the goddess Ashera. Okay? I wish the Hebrew brother was here. That is the goddess Ashera. Let me go back. See her again. That's Ashera. She's an African. Okay? Her name is Ashi or Ashra. I say Ashera, you know, because I like the word Ashera. You know, Tahuti make up his own stuff, so I didn't go to college. But her proper name would be Ashra. Ashra. Right? I say Ashera. Her name is Ashra. So that is another representation of where they get the goddess Liberta from in Greece. And you see her in the harbor in the United States, you see her as the Statue of Liberty. And right here, this is her African form. You can see her clearly. That's not a European. You see those locks on her head? Those are locks. You see them locks, and you see where they messed up her nose at? This is an African. Okay? Now, okay. I just threw this in here because this is kind of funny. The black woman is God. And whatever you give a woman, she will make greater. If you give her sperm, she will give you a baby. If you give her a house, she'll give you a home. If you give her groceries, she'll give you a meal. If you give her a smile, she'll give you her heart. She multiplies and enlarges what is given to her. So if you give her any crap, be ready to receive a ton of shh. Y'all know black how they are. You know what I'm saying? She gonna multiply it on your butt. Don't give enough crap, boy, because that's the last person you want to be. You don't want to be the enemy of the black woman. You don't want to do it. Love your sister, man. Because, listen, we're not getting out of this without the women. Our organizations, whether you the New Black Panther Party, Nation of Islam, 5%er, God, whatever, RBG, listen, we need women to get down with the movement. If you don't believe that the woman is God, just get with me on this campaign, because we need women. Listen, I want one of these Negroes to tell me how they got to this planet without a woman. Right. The black man is God, but how the hell did he get here? That's right. If the black man is God, and he's a God, because he comes from a God. He's the son of God. Right. You see? But he didn't get here by his damn self. He got here from that woman. And although, yeah, we participated in it, right? We bust that, you know what? And after you experience that little millisecond of pleasure, the rest of that time, everything is done by that woman. The miracle of life. This is amazing stuff. Think about it. An egg and sperm congeal together to form a blood clot. And that blood clot begins to metamorphosize into an actual human being. the miracle and the gift of life. The gift of life is the presence of the human being. That's why it's called present. Stop thinking about the past, think about now. The present, that is your gift. You understand what I'm saying to you? And in order to get here, now we can theorize and say we was in the metaphysical realm and we chose our parents. But if you're in the metaphysical realm, you're just up in there like a damn ghost or something. You understand what I'm saying to you? In order to get here, you got to get you a ticket. You got to come through the gateway. If you don't get through the gateway, there's no initiation into this life. So, great African men, great men, will give reverence to where they came from, because that's the gift of life. And so, when you are in the presence of your woman and y'all have a great relationship, and when your woman is naked, you should worship. And I ain't telling you, this is not for ego tripping for the women. This is not the ego trip. You got to get out of ego, because ego is an acronym for easing God out. You start ego tripping, you know, on your man, nigga, yeah, I'm God. You easing God out. You're not being God at that time. As people say, you know, love hurt. Love does not hurt. That's a damn lie. Love is only concerned with love. And love is the most beautifulest thing in this world. When we are hurting in our relationships, we are not loving at that time. We have abandoned love, and we are in the midst of anger. We are in the midst of jealousy. We are in the midst of these things that are ignorant of the divine light. The divine light is the real self. The divine self is love. So love never hurts. So if you are hurting from a relationship, then it is not love. It is ignorance of what love is. So let's move right along. Okay, that's Ishtar, right? This is another representation of the goddess that you see out there in the ocean as the goddess Liberator, or the Statue of Liberty. This is where the foundation of where they get these things from. Okay, moving right along. Here's another one of her, the goddess Liberator. You see? And you can see the rays. You can see the rays on the crown. You can see where this comes from. Okay? And here's another representation of it. See, the goddess worship was global. And the Europeans, they worshiped the goddess once they got, you know, once they got the knowledge from us, they started worshiping the goddess. That's where you get Isis from. You see, in her European form. You didn't know that. You didn't know that the goddess of Set had a European form. There she go. That's her. And this is where they get the Statue of Liberty from. You see it? I'm showing you here in ancient Greece, Lady Liberty. That's Isis. Right there. And this is the sun goddess. So, a lot of people have a problem with the sun goddess because we think of the sun as a masculine thing. You see, there's Juno and Ceres right here. So there are several representations of this, and I'm just showing you the evidence of it. So one more time, we look at the goddess and we see the very origin of where she come from, and that's the goddess of Set. You can see it right there and right there. This horns here on her head with the sun is representation of the fallopian and the ovaries. That if you look at the ovaries and everything, you'll see how that right there is a representation of that. And you'll see the sun on her head. So don't think only that the sun is a masculine thing, it's interchangeable. You see, and we're going to talk about that too. So one more time. Now, let's take a look at, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 around her head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 around her head. Now, if we look at that, that is a circle, and that is a 7. Now, in no way, I need to make this disclaimer, in no way, what I'm about to show you, am I taking an attack at the Moors, or Channel 7 News, I am not challenging the Moors. I'm not saying that this is where the Moors got it from. I'm only making my observation. It's up to you, the viewer, to study this and see the correlations. One thing that I have learned in this process, I've been able to decode symbols. I've been learning how to decode, because once the goddess started manifesting herself to me, she began to show me how to decode this information. And that's what I have been able to do. So if you look at it, this is the circle 7 and the 7 rays of the goddess, right? And that circle 7, no way am I attacking the Moors, right? The circle 7, and no way am I attacking the nation of gods and earths. I'm only going to show you, we're looking at a comparison here. There's a circle, and there's the 7. Circle 7. Circle 7, and let's go back real quick. Can we get that? Circle 7, the goddess. Let's go a little further. What says you, Natural Tahuti? Right? That's the Channel 7 News, right? The Holy Quran of the Moors and the symbol of the nation of gods and earth. Now, the nation of gods and earth, hold on. Let me go back. One more time, bear with me. One more time, right? Okay. The nation of gods and earth, because I know this very well. I was in the nation for 30. I did it again? Okay. Let me go back one more time. I'm sorry, family. I need to get through this here. Okay. In the nation of gods and earth, they teach us thus that you have... I keep doing that, man. They don't want me to talk about this. I'm telling you. Let me take this out of my hand for a second.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay. Maybe this time we won't do that. That is crazy. The nation of gods and earth say that this is the universal flag of Islam, that is the greatest flag known in the universe, and that you have the sun, the moon, and the stars. And then you have that number 7 imposed on it. And if you look, the 7, the sun, the moon, and the stars, everything is rotating around that number 7. Now, they say that the sun is the black man, the moon is the woman, and the star is the child. They also say that the number 7 represents the universal black man who is God. This is what they say, okay? When we look at it from an analytical point of view, we can see, if you get past the dogma, you'll see a circle and a 7, right? Check? Okay. And we see here the Moors, we see something similar with the Moors, the number 7. Okay, now we can move forward. Okay. Mama God is the circle 7. The dot, the whirler, the great mama is the great circle. Circle is holy, the whole, because it represents the womb of the goddess and the great round of life, cycling through birth, life, death, and rebirth. Ever changing, never changing, the eternal. In eternal means circle, as found in turn, term, turban, entire. For the circle has no beginning or ending. Before European input, life was conceived of as a great circle of being. We just established that that's one of the highest mysteries in Freemasonry. And this is why we see these symbols, because they are relevant to the Freemasonry. Okay, life was conceived of as a great circle of being in which all existed as an emanation of the Great Mother. Her spirit made flesh, or earth, or water, or air. Since whatever was her child, and all forms were equally valuable. All forms are equally valuable. There was no hierarchy in which humans ranked as superior to lower orders and were given dominion over them. That is totally European. We as Africans viewed all life equally. You got 8.4 million living entities on the planet. That includes the animal kingdom, the vegetation kingdom, the mineral kingdom, aquatics, and all of these living things. Germs, roaches, dogs, rats, cats. They all come from the same circle of being, the Great Mother. Otherwise, it would not exist. Even the damn white man, he came from the same circle 7. We all come from the same womb of life, and there is no hierarchy. There is just the intuitiveness, the in-tuneness with life. That's the way Africans think. We don't think to dominate life. That is a European concept. That is not only European because some of its origin we can find among Africans who began to move outside of the realm of their African matriarchal consciousness. When African patriarchy consciousness begins, because there was African patriarchal consciousness before there was a European patriarchy. There were Africans who were patriarchal before the European came. So, moving right along, this is another depiction of the Great Mother. It's called the Great Dragon. And in it, you know, we gotta look at the symbolism, the circle, and these 7 heads. Again, another representation of the circle 7, right? The Great Mama is the, oh, we just went through that, okay, no problem. I didn't know I did that twice. Okay, so that's the Great Mama God, and so forth and so on. Okay, we're gonna show you that the number 7, its etymological origin is that of the goddess. It has nothing to do with the black man is God. It has everything to do with the woman is God. She is heaven. 7, Seba, Sheba. Now you know why heaven is often referred to as 7-fold. The 7th heaven. The word heaven literally means 7. And 7 is a name of the Sabian Great Mother, the 7th-fold mother called Seba. Her name was Seba. Sepha, excuse me, Sepha. Sepha, you can research this. Sepha. Seba. Sheba. Heba. Heva. Hova. Yes, Jehovah is 7 also. She is the 7 spirits of God and the 7 spirits before the throne in Revelations 4:5. As Ati, excuse my pronunciation, she bore the 7 sons in Hindu mythology, derived from Ali. Remember the lecture I did with Ali Muhammad? The word Ali is reference to the goddess. He didn't know that the word Ali meant goddess, meant the circle 7, or the goddess. Her first 7 sons in the original African version. She has the 7 eyes which run to and fro through the whole earth. Zechariah 4:10. That phrase makes no sense until seen in its hidden astrological meaning as the 7-pole star constellation that never set. She is the Mexican mother goddess Seba, Seba-Colt, 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 the serpent woman of 7 serpents, the 7 sisters of Pleiades, the candlestick with 7 branches, and the 7 spirits of the great bear found in Kemet, China, and Japan. She is the 7 cows, bears, or sisters found in the oldest mythologies. She is the Zeb of the biblical Zebulun, a son of Jacob. Okay, so in no way are we saying that's where the nation of gods and earths got that from. all we are doing is manifesting the origin of the number 7. The etymological origin of the number 7 comes from the goddess Sepha. Sepha. 7, the word heaven, are literally the same word. So we are not attacking the Nation of Islam. We're not attacking the nation of gods and earth. We're not attacking the Moors. We're making an analytical statement here. Check? Sure. Okay. Freemasonry. Here's another circle 7. I put it upside down so you can actually see. Yeah, this is the 7. Okay, the square is a representation of the 7 because this symbol, and we're going to get into it, this circle 7, that is the hidden circle 7. And as you turn it, I couldn't actually angle it because I'm still learning how to do this, but I wanted to angle it so that you can see the 7 and the circle and what it represents. And actually, this is representing the womb of the Great Mother. This is her clitoris, and this is her vagina. Okay? They call it the yoni. Okay? So we can actually see, if you compare the slides, you can see the relevance of the circle 7, and you can see that these are all Masonic symbols. Ma, sun, right? Okay, so again, the Masons secretly worship the Great Mother. I remember Sarnetta put out a video with the Shriners. Did y'all see that one? With the Shriners on 125th Street, and they were all dressed like women?
Chased them out.
Yeah, everybody thought that they were effeminizing the man, but that's not really what that was about. That's an initiation. In the Maasai tribe in Africa, when they marry a woman, they have to dress up like women for a whole month. It is something to humble your spirit and to give back to the Great Mother, to show your dedication and your initiation into that feminine aspect. This is actually an African concept. It has nothing to do with homosexuality. This is why you see the gospel Jesus, you see Muhammad, you see Krishna, you see all of them of the ancient time, but you never see them dressed as men. You'll always see them dressed with a dress on. Because even the Buddha, all of these were matriarchal systems. And here's the point. Testosterone is a chemical that makes us physically powerful, right? Ancient mythological systems or ancient mystery systems, and this goes for all of the African systems, most of them today are very much patriarchal, especially in Africa today. I wouldn't even waste my money going over there to initiate in none of those systems, because a lot of them today have been very corrupted by the men. The men have become like the Europeans, and they're very corrupt and they're very material. You understand? First of all, you're going to need some damn money if you go over there messing with them Africans, trying to initiate into their systems. Okay? And so they're not giving you the true origin of these things. And so we'll come back here and we'll argue with each other over these concepts that these damn Africans over there have been forsaked. You see what I'm saying? They over there chopping women's clitorises off. You see? If you go to the Congo right now, they taking rifles and digging out the woman's womb. Right. So don't tell me nothing about what's going on over in Africa, because I don't want to hear it. The saviors of the world will come from right here in the West. And that's why Freemasonry says that the sun will rise in the West. Even in ancient Egypt, they tell you that the West is where, I can't think of it right now, but I know that the city of, the land of the gods is in the West, something of that nature, Western Africa. But this is the reason why, because the gods and goddesses, listen, you sitting in here right now is not by chance or choice. The reason why you're sitting here is because you're vibrating. You're vibrating on a conscious level, all of us. All of our third eyes are open to some degree, whether it's 5%, whether it's 10%, 85, 100%, we all have a percentage of consciousness that we're vibrating on. Your vibration has drawn you here to this lecture today. It's not by chance or choice. You are the awakened, realized masters from ancient times. You are the ancestors. No need to wait on the ancestors to come back. You are the damn ancestors back. And the more that you begin to realize what your purpose is, the more you will begin to vibrate on that particular level. We just got to begin to realize it. As we realize. Because you know what? When you were younger, you had a different understanding. And now that you're older, with more wisdom, you've been through some things, right? You've been through some pain. You've been through some things. And now you don't see things the same way you seen it when you was younger. You understand what I'm